is one of the most common questions that I get all the time, how to start investing in the stock market. And this is going to help a lot of you guys bridge some of your questions about how you can go about getting started in the stock market on your own. So as I go through these points, this is coming from a perspective of a new era of investing that's really taking hold. People are really identifying with the benefits of investing on their own, cutting out the middleman. Traditionally, there's been methods of seeking out their representation in the stock market by going with a financial planner, putting their money to sleep, and then forgetting about it. That can be one of the most costly mistakes that you can make. And there's so many products out there now that can make it so easy for you guys. And you're not going to find here that experience is one of those things that's necessary to get started in the market. There's a few things, key points that you're going to want to kind of ask yourself if you're meeting. Very simple to do, no experience required. So for you new investors out there that are making your way to the channel, maybe we've perked up some curiosity about the prospects of investing in the stock market on your own. This will really be beneficial for you as we're really trying to break down what you need to do to get started in the market. All right, the first thing you need to do, you need to assess your fitness for the market. What does that mean? You can't just go and take some money and dump it in the market. You really need to break down your fitness level. And what I mean by that is, have you had the ability to save money? Have you had the ability to pay yourself first? So the first thing is to make sure that you've got a little bit of savings built up. And this is contrary to old beliefs that you save a bunch of money and then dump it all in the stock market. I take a different approach. I really do. I think you need to prove to yourself that you can pay yourself and save capital that is liquid and static, okay? And that's going to come in the form of your savings account. Get a few $1,000s built up in the account over time and prove to yourself that you can pay yourself first. Then we want to branch into the prospects of looking into investing. But make sure you go through this stage first. You want to identify where you are with your age. If you're in your early 20s, this can really help you identify the framework or the plan that you want to initiate for yourself. And I always say that an individual investor is probably the most sound candidate to do that for themselves. I would contend that you really don't need somebody's assistance to look at your age objectively and say, you know what, I can take on a little bit more risk. And in talking to people, most people have a very, very good idea about what type of investor they want to be, whether it be, I just want to be a passive investor, or I want single stock, or a mixture of both. Most people out there can really look at it and say, you know what, this is the type of investor that I want to be. But if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on, it's going to factor in on what type of framework that you put forward in answering the question of how you get started, all right? You're going to want to take a stab at your risk profile, okay? Your risk tolerance does not have to be spot on perfect when you first assess it. I know I'm always evolving in my tolerance to the market, and it'll evolve over time. So when you initially assess yourself and assign a risk profile, whether it be a conservative or an aggressive profile, just try your best to assign a preliminary value. I go from 1 to 10. And just to give you an idea, I'm a risk profile in between a 6 and a 7. Okay, so a little bit more moderately aggressive in my profile. Everybody's different, but you want to give yourself a starting place so you can kind of fine-tune it once you put this program in place. You want to set yourself out a goal, a financial goal, all right? And as simple and as broad as you want to make it, make sure that you can answer for yourself why it is you're investing in the market, okay? And this is part of the how, but it's going to really help you stay focused on not playing into all the volatility when it does crop up, and it will, okay? This is really just seeking out your fitness level for the market and make sure you're preparing mentally to enter into the market. The next one is your style. You really need to have an idea of what style of investor you want to be. And in my opinion, there are two types of investor: a passive investor and an active investor. You can be a mixture of both, that's fine. A mixture of both is going to be someone who wants to enter into a passive program and also have some form of stock exposure in the equity section of their portfolio. What I mean by that is if you're going with a 100% equity portfolio, let's say you're young and you say, you know what, Ryan, I've got 30, 40 years to invest. I want a 100% equity portfolio. The idea behind that is you're probably going to be a little bit more active over here. Now, I would contend that anybody who doesn't have a lot of experience in the market probably should enter the market as a passive investor to start, all right? Once you identify this, and I've spoken with tons of people out there that say, you know what, Ryan, we're a passive profile. We don't want to have any type of exposure to single stock. Single stock just subjects your money to that much more risk, requires that much higher of a risk profile. So this is a very simple question: option one or option two, whether or not you're a passive or an active investor. And finally, you need to identify what you have in way of your buckets, okay? Your buckets are the accounts that you have existing or the buckets that you're wanting to start. All right, and those solutions we push out on the Independent Investor channel all the time, whether or not you go with a major brokerage house, Fidelity, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Merrill Edge. Those are some of the more established major brokerages out there. And then we also push out the M1 finance option, which is going to be that bucket or solution that's going to meet more of the passive profile for you guys. The active profile is going to be the First Trade option. All right, First Trade is another online broker that allows you to buy and sell stock free of charge. M1 does the same thing. These are revolutionary, cutting-edge products now that can really help justify how, in fact, you get started in the market. And then you're going to want to choose what bucket is going to match your fitness and your style. And once you've determined your access to the market in way of your bucket, you're off and rolling. And then we're going to start to understand and break down where, in fact, you're going to be investing. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this series of fundamental investing and starting in the market and answering some of these questions for yourself. It's one of the most common questions I get asked all the time. The products of First Trade and M1 I am affiliated with through the Independent Investor channel. I leave the links to those referrals down in the description below. So if you're curious about those solutions or buckets that I've offered through this video, don't hesitate to click on the link, click over, see what type of features and functionality, really free access to the market, free investing, free dollar cost average. It just doesn't get any more cutting edge than that, guys. So again, thanks for tuning into the video. If you're interested in more information that we push through, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and the like button for me to help support the channel. Finally, leave your comments in the comments section below. And again, I just want to remind everybody that we do a Friday live stream at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where you can come in and you can join a forum of discussion on how other investors, self-directed investors, are empowering their own lives using the solutions and the processes that we're outlining here. Very simple, no experience necessary. Everyone's welcome, guys. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much for tuning into the video, and good luck in your investment future.